What's up, everybody? It's your girl Keisha J. Kelly, and we are here once again with Black College Experience. I know it's been a long time coming. I've been away from the camera for a minute. I've been away, but I've been on the sidelines. Y'all already know how I do. If there's one thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get my sport on. But listen, we've been planning this. I've been planning this. I've been trying to get this going. Me and Paul been playing this tag team game. We've been doing this back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. But listen, this is my guy. I can't even tell y'all how excited I am right now to even be sitting here in the mix talking to this person, an NFL agent, not only an NFL agent, but a two-time Southern University grad and an attorney. It might be a little bit more special because he's a Southern University grad. He's an HBCU grad, but I ain't gonna steal that man's thunder. I'm gonna go ahead and bring on my guy, Paul D, the two-time Southern University grad, the NFL agent and attorney, Agent Paul. What's up, Paul?
What's up, my girl? How are you?
Y'all don't see him repping that. Y'all don't see that t-shirt. Y'all don't see the t-shirt. Paul the agent. Y'all see it. Y'all see it.
You know, I appreciate you. I appreciate you noticing the t-shirts.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I'm in a swag t-shirt with all that. So, absolutely. Always. Oh, your daughter said, hi, dad, dad, dad. She said dad on this side.
Oh, she said, hey.
Yeah,
hey,
she's on the, I can see her on the stream saying, hi, dad. Then she said, dad, dad. So tell your daughter hi.
What's up, Lonnie? How you doing, sweetheart? Look, y'all, you can't tell me she on it. I started smiling. I think every dad in the world.
Listen, she want to see what her dad gonna do. She want to see what her dad gonna do out here in these streets. All right. So I'm not. First of all, I want to thank you so much for joining me, for us finally getting this together. Listen, it's been a long time coming. We know the last time you had some stuff to come up, so hopefully you all heal. You're in a better place. Everything is good now. But I truly, y'all, when I say this, I humbly, I mean this. It's not too many Pauls in the world. I promise you. And I don't mean that from the standpoint of, oh, he has this background and this is and this. When I say, I literally, for everybody knows, my thing was I want to be an NFL agent. This man don't know me from a can of paint. He literally does not know me from a can of paint. He saw me tweet it and was like, I got you. Literally. And from that point on, it's been like, oh yeah, that's my guy. That's my guy. Like literally, that's how it actually started, from a tweet. So we're gonna hop right into it. Paul, I don't want to butcher your last name. I think I got it, but I don't want to call it the wrong name because you are a Louisiana guy.
No, you want me to say it for you?
Yes.
You ready?
Yes.
I struggle with my last name in kindergarten. You have to spell your name. It's a lot of letters. It's Derousselle, like a carousel with a D. So Derousselle.
Okay. I think I was pretty. Yeah, I think I was on the right. I think I was on the right.
And
so that's like
Keisha, before you go into your line of questioning, I want to tell you thank you for giving me this opportunity. I know you said it and thanked me. You're somebody that I look up to in this industry. I have a lot of respect for you, your work ethic, what you put into this. You're a champion not only for Black women in this business, but just for Black men, for Black individuals, just for everyone. Like your work doesn't go unnoticed, and I want to thank you for this, because this is you thanking me. This is a great opportunity for me to be here, to get a chance. So just thank you very much. That's the flower segment of our show. So thank you.
Thank you. So we're gonna hop straight into this. I did, because I came into this broadcast saying that Paul is a two-time Southern University graduate. So we're gonna start there. How did you end up at Southern University? Why Southern University? How did you end up saying this is gonna be the school that I want to go to?
All right, I'll be 100. We all family here, so I just keep it honest with y'all.
Keep it 100.
My mom went to Grambling.
Okay.
She was the first woman SGA president ever at Grambling. So first college I really ever went to, I was like 6 or 7 years old. I went to Grambling, and it was cold. Went to the SGA office, everything. So I'll be honest with you. Then I went to the Grambling High Ability Program, got 9 credit hours. Had a little girlfriend when I was at the program. I just knew we was going to be together, and it was going to work out. So and Grambling had a good tennis program, and I just had so much fun. I was like, bro, I think I'm coming to Grambling. I ain't kind of made that decision. My mom was like, just give it a little time. Don't make an emotional decision. And when I took a couple of steps back, Southern had just won the SWAC championship in tennis. I felt a little bit more comfortable with my cousin and being closer to family, and that really was why I made the decision to go to Southern. I knew I ultimately wanted to go to law school, so I felt like, if I be there, this is really what I was thinking, though, bro. I call you bro. We call each other that. This is what I was thinking, bro. I figured like I'd have so much fun in undergrad. By the time I got to law school, it wouldn't be a new place. I'd have had all my fun, so I'd really be able to lock in and do well at Southern. And I'm 100% confident that I made the right decision.
So what did Mom say when you chose Southern over Grambling?
She won't ever say this, but I think she was relieved. I think she really wanted me to go to Southern. I think she had angst about me driving up there on that 13 on the highway, and she felt that I would grow a little more at Southern. I'm from Eunice already. Mm-hmm. Eunice, shout out to Eunice. And I said on Facebook, everybody got to take a shot the first time I say Eunice on air. Y'all knew it was coming. Y'all knew it was coming. But I just think, growing up in a town of 13,000 people, Grambling is a lot similar to that in that it's a smaller town. Going to Baton Rouge, even though Baton Rouge isn't just this super, super big city, it's a little bigger. And it gave me an opportunity to kind of get out of my comfort zone a little bit and grow. So I'm thankful for Mom actually nudging me towards Southern.
That's awesome. I mean, I think Grambling was on my list. I believe Grambling was on my list. I know FAMU. FAMU was my first choice. So Grambling was on my list. FAMU was on my list. Jackson State was on my list. Southern was on my list. I had a couple of things, but yeah, I totally understand. I totally feel that. So when I hear people say, "Oh, I'm first generation," or "I'm third, fourth, fifth generation," I'd be like, "Nah, I'm the only one in my family that went to Southern. My sister went to A&M. My nephew went to Tennessee State. My other sister went to Drake." So I was like, we don't have that. We all went to HBCUs. That's why we did it. It's nobody in the line where you got 20 people in the family. Nah, we didn't do it like that.
Oh, good. You made the right choice.
Yeah, absolutely. So going into this, let's go back to this because you said you played tennis. Take us back through that time of you playing tennis at Southern University.
I'm so glad you asked this question, Keisha.
Y'all didn't know he played tennis, did y'all? Y'all didn't know he played tennis.
I got a championship ring right here. I keep that thing. I keep that thing on me. I keep that thing on me. But here's the thing. Once again, man, you're gonna hear me credit my mom for a lot of things. Growing up, it was a fear that I'm 6'2.5", 6'3" on a good day, but I was very, very small. I played basketball, but I was small. You were thinking I was gonna be 5'6", 5'7". So my mom just was like, "Look, you got to find a sport that you can play. That it don't matter how big you get. So baseball wasn't gonna work. So she I think tennis, and this is before Venus and Serena had even come out. So I don't know where my mama got this idea for me to go play tennis at. So I went to tennis camp. I was terrible the first time. The kids was laughing at me. And really, the only reason I started playing tennis because they laughed at me and they told me I sucked. I lost to this kid named Casey Rosa. He beat me in front of everybody. And I cried the whole way home. And I just got better and better and better. Next thing you know, I'm ranked in the state, all this, right? So back to Southern, when I decided to go to Southern, I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to Southern. There's going to be a whole bunch of other black people. We're going to win these championships. We're going to turn up. Well, I get there. And my college roommate, my first year, he's from Barbados. So I'm like, cool. I walk into the dorm room, it's a white dude with dreads, Michael Davis. So, just having teammates from Colombia. I had teammates from Colombia, Botswana, Zimbabwe, Ben Nube, who's my guy, man. It was a melting pot, and it was a good experience for me. I grew a lot. And the level of competition, junior tennis, it's about that leap. It's like going from, it's the difference. It's grown men. A lot of those dudes, like Bino on my tennis team, bro was from Botswana. I know he was 37 years old. I don't care what he said. Bro had an 800 credit score. So we just out there, the athletes, they were so good. And SWAC tennis, it wasn't traditional clap tennis. Oh, no. They talking to you in the stands. They were calling me Lil Bow Wow because I had braids. We're not going to get into that, but it was such a good experience playing for Coach Conyers, man. The weight program, we had Zeus, rest in peace to Zeus, Coach Danny. We were very competitive. We played big schools, Clemson, Auburn. We played a tough schedule, non-conference schedule. So we used to get whipped in the off-season, in the non-conference. But when it came down to SWAC play, we were as good as anybody, as evidenced by by all the rings we won.
So, because I remember interviewing. This is so crazy. I think right when COVID started in 2020, I remember interviewing a brother and sister. One is actually now the head tennis coach at Morgan. And they had won like the conference like a couple of years ago. And then I interviewed the sister, which played at Howard. I think she was interviewed either first or second or vice versa. So we interviewed one and interviewed the other. Talk about the importance of tennis, because a lot of people just do not see the importance of tennis. And like you said, this was before Venus and Serena. This was pre. So a lot of people don't see the importance of tennis. They don't see how this sport is literally growing.
It's growing. You got Big Foe who just made a run at the U.S. Open. He could have won it. He's a really good player. If you read his story, you'll see about who he is. But I think tennis, a lot of times it doesn't get its due because there wasn't really access for people like us early on. We viewed it as like a country club sport, right? You had to pay all this money. They wore the short shorts. It's viewed as an elitist sport. But, like with many sports, with Black people, man, once we get into it, I believe that Black people, we wanted to be whatever we wanted to be, that level of athleticism, we lock in, we can do anything. So I think it was very important for Venus and Serena to break through, just because you can see somebody. You had Malavia Washington, Shonda Rubin, who's actually from Lafayette. She had gotten up to like 7 in the world. You just got to see that, what? It doesn't have to be, you don't have to come from millions of dollars to play this sport. You can just go out there with a racket and a ball and a dream. And I think that's why Venus and Serena were so influential, because they grew up in the hood of Compton, right? So it became tangible. It wasn't just this far-fetched dream when you could really see it. And I think it requires a level of hand-eye coordination, elite lateral movement. It's a thinking game. It's one of the few sports where you having a bad day, you got to go out there and figure it out and make the adjustments. You can't pass the ball to nobody else. You really have to go out there and think, battle adversity, teaches mental fortitude. A lot of the lessons I've learned in life, I learned right there on that tennis court. I'm thankful. I had a stepfather that introduced me to the game and really, really took the time out to play with me. And I was able to see the world. I owe a lot to tennis, man. I really do.
So do you still see that kid that beat you? Just do you ever run into him?
Interesting story. He beat me, but by the time we got to 19th grade, I was whipping everybody. I know who he is. His name is Casey Rosal. He's from Eunice, and his family owned a shoe store. He beat the brakes off of me. He was really good, but I ain't never lose again. I was built like that. I wanted all that.
Did you challenge him to another match?
Absolutely. Because in high school tennis, you play rankings. Like you have to play somebody for their spot, kind of like on drumline.
Correct.
Like I challenged him. Like, I beat the brakes off of him 6-1. And I was mad I lost one game. Like he know what's up. Like everybody from that city who used to beat me, they know what it is.
But no hard feelings.
These are facts. Huh?
No hard feelings.
No, it's hard feelings. I ain't feeling
it's hard.
It's hard feelings, yeah.
Oh, it's personal.
It's for life,
Oh, God. Okay. So now going back to this, playing tennis, what was it like being a student athlete in college? What was that like?
That was a whole nother adjustment, man. Like I said, early morning conditioning. Right, you waking up in the morning, you remember Club Upscale, right?
Yeah.
On Thursday, you trying to pull up the Club Upscale, you got a 5 a.m. run. So it became more like a job. Just you up, you work. It's a job. Your class schedule, you get out of class, you might take that nap, and it's work, but it taught a level of discipline, man. Like you don't miss workouts, you show up for your teammates, and even like my freshman, y'all really wasn't even playing that much. So I'm coming there weighing 140 pounds. I wasn't good. I didn't even I barely saw the court as a freshman. But the next year I won most improved player on the team, and we won a championship again. So it's so many lessons, man. Being a student athlete was great. I was part of the student athlete advisory committee. We used to work out. Sometimes the track girls would be in the weight room at the same time as us. So it was great times, man. It was great times.
So part of the advisory. I feel you. Yeah. Hey, what year did you win championship?
We won 02. We won back to back. They won it in 02. I wasn't on the team. We won it 03 and then 04. And the crazy part, we won it 04. I had a bald head. I just came off the stage across Alpha, April 23rd. Won the SWAC championship April 25th. Great time.
Oh, that's definitely great times. Definitely great times. So you was a bald-headed tennis player. Hey, that's great time.
Bald head. I was out there looking like Jared Dudley. Had the headband on and everything. It was crazy.
That's definitely great times. Now, I want to kind of, and I'm going to say switch gears, but kind of going into being in this space and the importance of HBCUs, because we had this conversation. We talk about it being for the culture and everything that's going on around HBCUs and everything with all these sports and football and basketball and all of these things. Why do you think it's important for us to advocate for our HBCUs? And not even just as an athlete or a former student athlete, but just in general, because we have to advocate for our schools. But I guess I'll spin it back, advocating for our athletics in HBCUs.
Okay, so let me just so we're clear, is it a two-part question by saying the importance of HBCUs first, then I'm going to athletics? I'm not trying to be a lawyer right now.
No.
Call that question.
Because that's the next question. We're going to hop into the attorney part. But yes, I guess we can stick to the athletic part, the advocating for HBCU athletics, because we both know we don't always get the publicity. We don't get the notoriety. We didn't get these conversations, I'm going to say pre-2020, like we are getting now. And so now we have people like you that's out there that's advocating, that you're out there being the agents and out there speaking on the behalf of not only say just HBCUs, but just Black representation, which we'll also talk about, but advocating for HBCU athletics, because we know you have some clients.
I think it's very important because, for one, you got to look at the history. In order to know where you're going, you got to know where you've been. A lot of these HBCU programs, we starting when we get off the bus down 21 points because, sometimes the weight room staff is, you don't have a weight program. You don't have the weights. You don't have a lot of things. So sometimes just being that we're underfunded in a lot of instances, you're already behind the eight ball. So I think it's very important that as alumni, like you donate back and you do, like that's your duty because we don't get the degree without that institution. So I think that it's very important that just we continue to advocate the HBCU and spread awareness about it. Like we need money, we need these resources in order to be able to compete with these larger entities. And I think we're doing a better job of it, I'd say, as of late, in that the people are paying a little bit more attention to HBCUs, and the more attention you get, the more people sometimes go look behind the books and like, wait, how much money do they have? Or maybe I can help, or things like that. So I think it's very important that specifically people like myself and you who have that space, who have that platform, so every chance you get, you rep that school. Like, for me, I've been to NFL Pro Days, and, Alabama A&M, I had D. Anderson. Shout out to D. It's his birthday today.
It's my niece's birthday. I know they're not the same age, though. She's 4.
Oh yeah. He act 4 sometimes, but that's my guy.
Oh, but so they're my friends.
Yeah, but he, one team was at the pro day. That's unacceptable, right? It's 3-4 teams right there in a 4-hour radius, and I think I spoke up about it, right? I said something on Twitter. A lot of agents gonna be quiet and be like, "Oh, I'm not worried about." Like, nah, I'm cool on standing on all 10 behind Southern and all the other HBCU people. Like, you gotta have that. You gotta have people who are, when they have that stage and that opportunity, you rep that school and you represent it to the best of your ability. So anytime I'm out there in the world, I'm an HBCU product and I'm an HBCU student athlete, and I'm remembering that. So that means helping out other athletes, helping people, like using what I have, going back to Coach Banks, who's our AD, and let them know, here's what the league is saying, this, and that. Like, it's on us to, to continue to champion and advocate for us. Because if we don't do it, like right now, you see all this stuff where like repping HBCUs is the vogue thing. You see a lot of people you never see talk about HBCUs before. Now all of a sudden, that's like, maybe it's couched in authenticity, but I'm kind of skeptical sometimes. Is this just a hype thing? Like us, we're gonna be HBCU grads till it's over. Like in 2026, when they didn't find a new cause or a new, when they didn't moved on from this wave, it's on us to stay locked in, like irrespective of the ebbs and flows of it.
And that's absolutely true. You said something that's absolutely accurate. We have the platform, and it's up to us what we do with our platform. And so, I do. I'm one of those people. I'm like you. You say I stand on all 10s. I'm the same person. Whatever I tweet is what I mean. I mean what I say, and I say what I mean. So there's never a time when I'm gonna say something like, "Oh, I meant what I said. I tweeted what I said," and I say it all the time. When people get on this wave, that's fine, but make sure you're giving something back to the culture. Now, I mean, if you're talking about HBCUs and you love them like this, what are you bringing to the table besides I'm trying to get access to this person or this game or this coach to get this? And, you have so many people that's new in this space, which I don't have a problem with, but it's like, if you come in this space, respect the space. Don't just come in here. Like, I mean, I've never had so many people reach out to me about media credentials, getting access to this. How do I do this? How do I get that? And honestly, it's, I've been in this game for a minute. You got to do the footwork. It's a lot of footwork in this work. You got to do the footwork. So if you're serious about it, then you're going to figure it out. You got to do the footwork. And it's not to shade anybody, to step on anybody's fingers and toes, but it's just like, you got to do the work. And if you really about the culture and you trying to advocate for us for real, then you'll do what it takes and use your platform. And another thing that you said that I was listening to is, other people were kind of quiet on what you said or when you tweeted, but you spoke up because, for one, you're a former student athlete, and again, you're a product of an HBCU, so you understand. You understand what it's like to be the voice for another HBCU athlete. You understand what that's like.
Absolutely, and I'm gonna do it every time, every single time. I was at Southern's Pro Day just this last year. I'm looking around. I'm there. I'm advocating. Like, no matter what happens, like no matter where this agent road takes me, whether I'm in the green room representing first rounders, you never forget where you came from, And as a duty, I am obligated. There's like people will sit here and act like, oh, I got it out the mud. I did this, and that. I'm not who I am without having gone to Southern, and I know that it built character. Waiting on them refund checks taught me how to balance. Standing in them financial aid lines taught me people skills, right? So I realized that duty, man. And I'm not trying to make an HBCU infomercial, but having gone to law school there and undergrad, I'm indebted. Like, I really truly am, and I always will be.
I was reading something before I move on. I was reading something that you had posted, and you were saying at one point you were in a dark place. And in that moment, when you started to reflect on where you were and where you are now, I could see those things. And I was like, we don't often know people's stories. So we don't know why people are celebrating the way they are, why they are in the space that they are. And like I told y'all when we first started, we didn't know each other from a can of paint. Even though we're at the same university, we didn't know each other from a can of paint. So for somebody to literally say, hey, I got you, and we talking about this whole, NFL agent space, it's not going to be too many people that's going to do that. It's not, because in this case, people always think it's a competition. We think everything competition. We don't want to work together. That's just how it is. And then I'm a Black woman in this space of sports, so that makes it even different. A lot of guys make it even more difficult. But anyhow, so now that we know this, we know Paul that was out there playing tennis, out here winning championships back to back and stuff. Talk to us about Oh, boom, I done graduated. Now it's time to go to law school. Talk to us about attorney Paul before we go to agent Paul.
No, I had no problem talking about that. I made a decision. Like I said, I knew I was going to go to law school. I'll be 100% transparent. I didn't do as well on the LSAT as I should have. I think we took the LSAT December 5th. I was at Alpha Founders Day December 4th. I was just like, my thing was, that just wasn't a level of discipline, right? You're 21 years old. I didn't do well on the LSAT at all. Like if we talking football, wide receiver, I ran a 4.8 too. And I remember the first day of law school, I made a joke. Not that many people laughed, but they were like, "Tell us one random thing about you." I said, "I'm Paul Derousselle, and I only got into law school because Tanya Randall got pregnant and decided not to come." And I hit them with the love and basketball. I got like 2 people chuckled, maybe 1 person laughed, but like I barely got into law school, just based off my LSAT score. Once I got there, I was blessed to surround myself with great people, great study group that held me accountable, and I took off. I graduated with a 3.7, top 5, actually top 4 in the class. I feel like I should have finished 1, but it is what it is. That was a great experience for me, man, to be around like-minded people who were smart. We were all grinding for something similar. Like a lot of us had stories. A lot of us had gotten it out of the mud, and just were there trying to be the first in our families to do this. So it was a great experience being at the law center. I had excellent professors, people who really poured into me, held me accountable, challenged me. And, we wore that Southern with a badge of pride. We went up there, Professor Jackie Nash took us up to New York. We out there battling Fordham, all these schools at the national trial lawyers. Like, we were some dogs, and we had really good professors, and we have a really good school at Southern, man. And it's a fraternity within a fraternity. Like all the lawyers from Southern, we look out for each other because we know what it's like. We really, we really come together, and it was a great opportunity for me, man. I wouldn't, after my first year's grades had come out, a lot of people were thinking I was going to transfer. Georgetown start calling all these bigger entities. I'm like, nah, bro, I'm gonna lock in. I'm gonna dance with who brought me. Like my grandma said, I'm gonna dance with who brought me.
So I'm gonna pause right here because OC said, yo, OCC Anderson Jr. said, yo. So I already knew he was gonna come on because it's something he told me to ask you, which I'm gonna ask later on in this segment.
E-Town in the building, man. Shout out to I told OC the other day, man. He had said something along the lines of like hometown hero, whatever. And I said in the comments, man, I was looking up to y'all. A lot of the things I do, man, a lot of people were blueprints to me. So OC, Jason, his brother who went to Grambling, unfortunately, those are all people that I looked up to. So shout out to OC.
So now that you've gone through the training, you said, okay, I am the attorney. What point made you say, hey, now I want to be agent Paul? What clicked to turn to agent Paul?
I mean, I'm not gonna lie to you, man. It was like, you get to law school, everybody talks about, I want to do sports and entertainment because it sounds sexy.
It sounds very sexy. I know.
Yeah, and half them people ain't doing that. They just saying that. Like you gotta just keep it a buck with yourself. So I was saying it, but I never really knew how I was gonna do it. You ever say some stuff like, you just saying it. It's like, bro, what am I gonna do? So I was at after I graduated, I was fortunate enough to work at a really, really big firm. Big firm, billing 2,000 hours a year. It was tough. They paid you a lot of money, but they was gonna get it back in blood. And I remember this was right around the time the NFL lockout was going on, and I was like, man.
Was this before you became the agent? When you working at the big firm? Okay.
Yeah, I'm still, and I'm just like, bro, I'm looking around the office. And I'm just like, bro, this can't be life. Like, I'm getting paid a lot of money. I got a new baby. It just came out. Like, when you got a dream and it, it's gonna keep bothering you. Like, you ain't gonna be able to let it go. You know what I'm saying? It's like that. Right. It's like that X that hits you with the eyes. Like, what you doing, right? And you don't block it. You can't block it. You can try to block it, then it's gonna email you. You try to email it, then it's gonna WhatsApp you. Like, it's never gonna stop. So, and at that time, I had a classmate, one of my boys, Gregory Brumfield. He was going, like, he was real adamant, like, bro, we're gonna do this. So I was like, all right. Next thing you know, I'm like, we're going to DC. So you study for the test. Like, the crazy part is I still got this book. This is the book right here. They send you like a collective bargaining agreement. You got to pay like $2,000, stay in a hotel, go to DC. So I was like, all right, I'm in it now, right? So I lied to the people at work, told them I was sick, and I just disappeared. And I took the test, was fortunate enough to pass. And one of the reasons I thought I was going to take the test because it was a kid from, and I could say this candidly, is a kid from my hometown. That's my boy, Derousselle. He was at LSU at the time. He was coming off of a big sophomore year. He, lived at our house. It was like bet. And to a man, like I thought it was like, okay, we from the same place. Sign with me. Here we go. We about to run it up. But as you know, it don't never go like
not work out like that.
And so
boom,
I took the test.
I got another agent. Yeah.
So I took the test and you go out there. It's a tough test too. And I sent you some of the materials.
Right.
They get you into this false sense of security. Like everything is gonna be on the test. I done went to law school. I'm not believing nothing. Like people was really going out and partying the night before. And I'm just like, nah, bro, I'm not doing that, bro. Like, I didn't came, I didn't pay all this money, nah. What Denzel say on that, I'm gonna leave here from something. I'm gonna leave here with something. I'm from around the way. I'm gonna leave here with something. So I locked in, found out I passed the test, and this is like October going into the 2013 draft. So, I remember I called Tharo, like, hey, bro, like, what we gonna do about this? And I'll be honest with you, I didn't prepare. I just thought I didn't know nothing about training facilities. I didn't know nothing about, I was just like, he gonna sign with me off the strength. And he called me, he's like, nah, bro. Like, and at the time I was very upset. I was hot, but it was a lesson. And me and Tharo talk a bunch now. But I was hot. I'm not gonna lie to you. I was like, damn, like I can't even sign somebody from where I'm from. And you from a small town.
Mm-hmm.
You feel like people looking at you like, bro, how can you ever expect to sign anybody? You can't sign nobody. So, but I took a step back. I said, this is the last time I'm gonna ever not prepare. I didn't prepare. I didn't, I just thought I had it. I didn't have a plan. I just thought I was gonna show up and get it. And I learned a valuable lesson. I grew from that experience, and hit a couple of undrafted guys here and there, a couple of big fish I swung at. And I was in the last 2 or 3 agents and couldn't get the dub. But all throughout this process, I was getting better. I was learning. I was growing, and I knew I was in my element. And I go to the combines and see the other agents with their players sitting down. I ain't had nobody. I was just there for the vibes. And I just remember just like telling myself, like, one day this is gonna happen for me. Like, this is, I just watch how other agents were interacting with their players, and people treat me like I was nobody. Like, who are you? Like, what the hell are you doing in here? Like, so I remembered all those moments, and it built character, it built resolve. So like when you see me very appreciative about everything, like I really will shed tears because I really, God put me through a lot, and I think he was just testing me to see if I really wanted this as bad as I did, as I do, and still do. So that's where we at.
I can imagine that, and thank you for that transparency, because what that reminded me of was that of Kanye's song, and I cannot call the song at this moment, but Last Call.
Touch the Sky.
Last Call. It's Last Call is what that that moment when you said I was just there. It was certain parts in that song where he was just like the same person. Like, I remember getting this, trying to get to this. I remember doing this, trying to get to that. And so it's a transparent moment. And so when you look back to where you started and to where you are, I can see that rejoicing. I can see the point. So you choosing not to party the night before. The guy that came with you, or the guy did he party the night before?
No, we studied together. We went to law school together. That's my guy. So we initially started out in the business together, and he just ultimately made a decision that he was going to pursue other things. But I don't know if I passed that exam without him, because we stayed up the whole night and we took it seriously. And I remember getting that email. It was in my spam and said, "You're an agent." I'm like, bet, here we go.
What was that feeling like? What was that like?
I mean, it was, looking back on it, I didn't take the time to celebrate the victory. I was in that moment. I was like, all right, like, what's next? you know, I was happy. I was relieved. I was more relieved than anything. It's like, damn, I don't want to fail the agency because you know, if you fail it once, you got to take it again. If you fail it twice, I think it's like 5 years before you can take it again.
Right.
So, you know, I was blessed, and I was humbled, and I thought things was gonna turn out differently. I thought, like, I really did think, like, year one, I'm getting a draft pick, and you know, the crazy part, Darryl ended up getting drafted to the Seahawks, won a Super Bowl his first year, and you know, I remember, Darryl and we talk a bunch. I remember just like I was in such a dark place because I was like I had to check myself because like I was really just sitting there like not wishing anything bad would happen to him, but I wasn't wishing him the best like I should have. You know, I was just like indifferent. And you know, that's not how you should be specifically as a Christian. You know, like, yeah, I know we human, but we from the same place. You know, I should have done a better. And crazy part is he leading into 2016, he and I had talked. He was signing with me. You know, you had to get done with his other agent. He was coming with me on his second contract. He got hurt. He got hurt that fourth year in the contract year. So I'm just like, bro, every time. And had he been healthy that year, he was gonna get paid because like Byron Maxwell, who wasn't as good as Darryl, got 40 M's. So here I am again. We running it back. I'm like, all right, we just gonna, and it didn't happen again. So I'm like, bro, what are we doing here? So it's been a lot, Keisha.
So is there anybody that you would say is your biggest client?
I mean, first of all, I'm not trying to give you the politically correct answer.
I'm gonna see if you answer how I answer, because I answered this question in a certain way. So go ahead.
No, so I'm just saying, like, I wouldn't, like, it depends on how you define biggest, right? I would say there's like most well known. All my clients, you know, every guy I represent to me is a star.
Okay, you answered just like I answer. Correct. Yeah. Okay, no, you answered just like I answered.
I'm saying, I'm being honest. You know, like that's maybe like the biggest as far as, you know, like who has the biggest accolades. You know, I've had, you know, one of the guys, you know, obviously he's not a client of mine anymore, but, you know, my first breakthrough, you know, pick 60, 2018, DJ Chark was a Pro Bowler. You know, I had the opportunity to represent a Pro Bowler before, you know, 2 Pro Bowlers actually. So, you know, biggest is, I think that's real subjective. I would say this, you know, at the moment right now, I got guys like D. Anderson, Caleb Carter, Trayvon Reeves, Caleb Willard, like Columbus Willis, I'm sorry, who are like fighting for that opportunity to get into the league. You know, those are guys who like I still believe in, and I worked really, really hard for. You saw me at you saw me at places. You know, D got a chance with the Saints, and I remind you how I feel some of the things that LSU did to D that they shouldn't have done. But anyway, you know, so there are those guys who are fighting, and you're still working for, right? You're using all those connections, hoping for workouts, hoping for trying. Then, you know, you have Tyree Phillips, who's with the Giants right now, who's in his 3rd year, who's a very, very talented guard. He can play all places on the line. He's a gifted musician. He's my guy. Tyree is my dog. I love that dude to death. And then obviously, you know, I mean, when most people think about, you know, what I have going on right now, the first person they'll ask about is Jeffrey Simmons, who plays for the Titans. And, you know, Jeff is, you know, I think the best defensive tackle in football. I'm biased. I know what answer 90% of y'all are going to say, but, you know, we're talking about 25 years old. We're talking about, you know, I can go on and on why Jeffrey Simmons should be the highest paid defensive tackle in football this offseason. I mean, I'd be happy to, like I said, Keisha, I'd be happy to share those thoughts with you. But so, you know, so I would say he is the biggest client right now as far as like, he's the biggest because he's the next one up. He's the next one up to get paid. You know, he's pretty much in a contract year right now. And, you know, we're working. I can't go into the details, you know, loose lips sink ships, but I can tell you, I can tell you since you my dog and y'all my dogs that, you know, there have been preliminary conversations, you know, and they're going to continue to be conversations. You know, I think Titans organization, you know, I met Miss Amy, I met the owner the first game, spoke with the GM, John Robinson. They run a first-class organization there. And, you know, obviously part of being a great organization, you got to be able to retain great players. But in retaining great players, there's a number, and that number is not going to move, and that number is only going up.
So you spend a lot of time. You spend a lot of time in Nashville.
I do. I love Nashville, man.
So next time you go down there, you see your nephew, which is my nephew that lives in Nashville. Holla at your nephew. My nephew's in Nashville. My nephew graduated from Tennessee State. other thing, my little cousin plays for the Titans. So my cousin got drafted. We went to Nashville. My nephew graduated in 2021. My cousin got drafted on Friday night. My nephew graduated college on Saturday. And we was in that. It was just crazy how that worked out for our family ties. But I was like, okay, that's just how it happens. But yes, I would answer the question the same way, because people always like, oh, what's your biggest interview? And I was like, listen, they're all big interviews to me. Like every interview has its thing, because when I'm looking for people, I'm looking for people to tell their story. I want somebody to tell their story, because to me, these are stories that are not being told. So when you talked about my work ethic, I like your work ethic, because I'm one of those people. I'll go somewhere for the experience, even if I'm getting nothing out of it, because I know at some point, or if I'm not, like, it's like, okay, I don't have a person with me, I'm going for that experience because I'm going to build upon that. When I went to the first NFL draft years ago in Chicago, I remember people saying, oh, it was supposed to be me and this one of my boys. He was supposed to go with me from Florida. He pulled out at the last minute. I ended up still going to Chicago. My sister was like, oh, no, you still going. I still went to Chicago. I went by myself just to experience. Everybody was so proud of me. The moment I knew that's where I wanted to be. So the following year, I flew back into Chicago. One of my boys from Jackson State and his brother from Tampa met me out there. And so it was like a totally different vibe, because this time we were inside. So it's like, okay, now I was like on the red carpet and everything. So yeah. I'm the same way. Even if I'm going out here to experience it, because I don't know what's going to come with it. Eventually, something else is going to come with it. And that's been years ago. And of course, so much has come with it. I've experienced so many things, but I'm like, listen, you don't ever know who you're going to run into, what's going to happen. You never know what those experiences are going to lead to. But this is the question I really want to ask. Black representation for our athletes. Black representation for our athletes as far as NBA, NFL, MLB, whatever the case. Talk about the importance of that Black representation, because we know a lot of times. Well, I'm gonna give you a twofold question. I'm sorry, I got to do it.
You like them two-pronged questions. It's good though. I'm processing.
So you get the Black representation that we know is needed. We need Black representation because we need to see us looking at us. It's a mirror. We have to represent our own. And then the importance of representing HBCU athletes, because we know there are a lot of people that look like us, just keeping it buck. There's a lot of people that look like us that don't want to represent us because we feel like, oh, yeah, you know, that's HBCU. They ain't about to do nothing. I ain't about to represent them. So however you want to answer that question.
That's a great question, Keisha. It's a very two-pronged question, but I'm gonna hold it down. I'll say this, man. There's like, if you look at the last 10, 15 years, you know, it used to be an outlier. It'd be outliers like, you know, the Eugene Parkers of the world, you know, like those Black agents who in my estimation, were forefathers, right? The Eugene Parkers of the world. He's somebody I looked up to. He represented Deion Sanders. He's from Indiana. He was an attorney first. I studied him. When he died, I was just as sad as when Kobe died, you know, right? When Eugene Parker passed away. So I'll say that, you know, you look now, you're starting to see a lot more Black agents. And I'm going to speak more so to football. We know basketball, Rich Paul got it on lock. He doing his thing over there. Him, Raymond Brothers, who represents Lonzo Ball, the Ball brothers. He's from Lawtell, Louisiana. So, but specifically in football, you talk about, you know, Vincent Taylor just had the #1 overall pick, first Black agent to ever have a #1 overall pick for the Jacksonville Jaguars. You got David Mulligetta, you got Tory Dandy, you got all the Nicole Lynn. You know, you got all these Black agents who are going out there and they killing it. And what that's doing is that's helping somebody like me who hasn't, you know, necessarily got that big deal under their belt just yet. So I think it's very important that those people who are out there, that they continue to do excellent work. And just from like, that's just for perception, just for the culture. But on the other side of that, you know, just there's a certain relatability just when, you know, having a Black player with a Black agent. Yeah, you know, you relate different, right? You ain't gotta force nothing. You ain't gotta act like you like NBA YoungBoy. I like NBA YoungBoy. You know what I mean? Like it's cool. You know, it's just to me, it's just a comfort. And I think as a Black agent, though, it's still incumbent on you to not give a player a reason not to. You still have to be the consummate professional. You still have to dot your I's, cross your T's, and you have to, I'm not expecting you just to fool with me just because I'm Black. I have to show that I'm that person, right? Being Black is just that's a cherry on top of the cake. The cake is, what the cake encompasses is accountability, consistency, character, competence, all those things. You got to show that too. And that's just a standard you're going to hold in your, like, that's a standard I'm going to hold myself to every single time. So there's that. You mentioned like HBCU athletes. I look at it one of two ways, right? I think from a business standpoint, it depends. And I'll say it like this, Keisha. If you're a younger agent and you ain't really got much money, it costs to train guys. Sometimes you have to do a cost-benefit analysis. If the guy don't have a draft grade, it's tough, right? It's tougher to just take on, whether they went to HBCU or anyway. So sometimes it's not that an agent avoiding an HBCU guy. It's a guy, you're making a business decision because maybe you don't have that much money. Keisha, active roster, you might spend 15, 20 bands on a guy. That guy don't make the active roster. You done just donated. Like, you know what I mean? You done just donated. So, and that goes back in line to 1-2 people coming to the pro days. How you expect to get those eyes and get a guy drafted? There's 1-2 people they pro day. Come on, man. So, but what I'm saying is, as an agent, there's a business side to this too, right? You can't just be out here throwing 30 racks if the guy ain't got a 5th round grade, because when you do the math got a math, Keisha. And we can have that whole different conversation. But I would say that even if you can't represent a guy per se, like I am on your standard representation agreement, it's guys like me, as other people that like, you got to remember what that was like being in Mayberry on a Monday when you forgot your meal card. You got to remember somebody showed you some grace, right? Absolutely. Somebody showed you some grace along the way. So you look at my DMs right now, there's guys who I know ain't going to the league. Let me tell you something. They ain't going to the XFL, IFL, NFL, ASL, nothing. But
no L.
No L. I mean, but I still feel like I have to help you and you whatever resources I got. And maybe that's because I went to HBCU, maybe because I've been heavy in the church. Shout out to First Baptist Hamilton Park. But I gotta, like, I can't forget those people who really trying, because some of those guys, they don't have nobody. Like, how much it hurt me to send a text to the Bears local area scout, who actually went to Southern, was the kicker, Monty Ackley, Brett Ackley, went to Southern, our kicker, number 17. He's a scout for the Bears. It's not hard for me to reach out to him like, hey, bro, what do you got on this guy? Can you help me? And then I can help that guy, because my part of the things I'm doing, I'm trying to use my intel, all the doors that I didn't have to break down. If I can help that guy, bro, I'm gonna do what I gotta do. So I want to challenge like all the agents, even if you representing the Tyree Phillips or Jeffrey Simmons, and he about to get the biggest deal in football. You can't forget about that guy, man. I'm not saying you got to finance them or fund them or pay for, because I get it. You got to make a business decision, but it don't hurt nothing for 5-minute conversation, to watch some film, to link them up with Jose Jefferson, who's over the College Gridiron Showcase, or to link them up with Harold at the East West Strong. Like, I got all these. What good is me having all these connections if I ain't helping my brothers? You know what I mean? Like,
right.
What good is that? Like, what for what? So I can take pictures on the sideline and look cool. So I can, like, what am I doing? What am I in this for?
Yeah, to take pictures on the sideline and look cool. You just said it. So
no, but you remember, Keisha, you remember, like, you asked, you said, why did I hit you up? Because like I said, it's an obligation, man. Like, people, nobody get there by themselves. Like, even though me in my agent career, I got a lot out the mud by myself that I didn't know. So why I want you to have to go? Why I want you to have it harder? Like, why I want you to have it harder. So that's really the reason. Like, you talk about it was my auntie or this. Like, nah, we from the same place. We from the HBCU. Because even if you went to university, it's a young lady went to University of Tennessee trying to get in the business. I hit her up. I sent her stuff trying to help her out. Another young lady went to Jackson State. I say, meet me at Jeff football camp. Right? Come help out. Let me introduce you to William Raymond PR people. Like, bro, that's what you got to do. And when you do it, and you do it with a pure heart, and your intention is good, and it's not to tell everybody that they help you. Like, I ain't never told nobody to help you. You told them people that. Like, God gonna really bless you, man. And not to turn this into Tony Evans, but it's a reason that I think I'm, like, doors are opening for me. And that's because all the doors that I didn't open, I'm trying to, like, at least I maybe can't bring you through the front door with me, but like I'm like, look, bro, there's a back door over there. Like, meet me over there. I'll get you in.
And that's funny you say that because I remember we were at the ESPN here in Atlanta, and I remember Deion Sanders saying, when you come through the door, leave the back door open, at least leave the door open for somebody coming behind you. And a lot of times people don't. And I feel the same way. A lot of things, we go through seasons. And I say this all the time. It's not by coincidence. It's just God's divine design. It's just how it is. So whatever we're going through is how he set it up. And it's, are you going to depend on me? Are you really going to weather this storm? Are you going to trust me? And so I'm the same way. I've done so many things for people in this Black college experience space. It's like, okay, now you're seeing, you're starting to see you're starting to see the harvest, and you're starting to see things actually come back. So now I was told to ask this question.
Hey, now, don't ask me nothing crazy now. All right, come on now.
I was told to ask. Let me see what my question is supposed to be, because they told me to ask this question. So I was told to ask this here question. Well, I guess I'm gonna get to it eventually.
All right.
Let's see here. All right, so I'm hearing that you have a Paul Don't Lie show. What is the Paul Don't Lie show?
Oh, so it started over the pandemic. As the pandemic, that was some rough times. I look back, like, but my mustache was bigger than Steve Harvey's. That was some rough times. So I just started getting on live. I was just having a good time talking to people. It was my only human interaction. I felt like Will Smith on I Am Legend or whatever movie it is. So it just kind of started from there. I get on live, just people I wanted to talk to anyway. I was like, hey, meet me on the live. And, obviously it comes from Ball Don't Lie, like in hooping, it was like Paul Don't Lie, right? And the support was crazy. Like this thing, we doing 8,000, 9,000 views, and it was good for me because it was fun. Because I got to, once again, highlight people from my community who was doing different things and helping them. Like, and, people tried to give me money. I wouldn't take $1, and I mean, I'm talking about I kind of had a whole promo package, Keisha. And it was great, man. It's an opportunity for us to come together as a community. And it's helped me a lot more than people would think because, as an attorney, as you're in front of the camera, you're talking, you're getting to learn about new things, you're learning to ask good questions. So learning how to interview made me become a better interviewer because a lot of times I know what you're about to ask next because I'm still in the interview too. So it's great, man. The people back home been supportive. My mama watched every show. Miss Mary Jane Dupree, my neighbor, she ain't missed the show. It's fun. It's something, I always wanted to get in the mass comp. Sometimes a kid, I would turn the volume down and like think I was Stuart Scott. And so it's fun, man. You should come on my show. You should come on my Paul Don't Lie show. We gonna do a quid pro quo. It's for that, some reciprocity.
Well, listen, don't tell me to come on there and then I can't get on there. OC told me he couldn't ever get on there. He'd been trying to get on there. He was the one that told me to ask.
OC is not telling the truth. I reached out to his publicist. They said he was getting a manicure that day. I was trying to get him. He's not a pretty boy, man. He just. No, but he definitely somebody needs to come on the show. So I'll do better, OC. My bad, big dog.
What day is this? What day is this on?
Sometimes I wake up and I want to do a show. So this next week is my high school homecoming. So I got my old principal, like one of the best coaches in Unis High history. He's coming on the show on Monday, trying to get the homecoming court to come to it. So it's crazy because I can really get anybody that wants to come on the show. It'd be great times, bro. Like I'm telling you, it feels like a real show, and I done got real good at it. That's
the scary part. You're not good at it.
No. The score. No, I mean the people will tell you. I mean they might be lying to me, but I'll be in my bag. I'm not gonna lie. I learned some new words. I ask good questions, and like I said, it helps you. Think about it. You're in a room. I learned something the other day. I forgot about fufu, a Nigerian dish.
Correct.
And sure enough, I was hanging out at the Titans game. It was this nickel corner. I was standing next to his brothers. We had a whole conversation about Nigerian food and Afro beats. And I don't get to that point without having the show. So I like learning stuff. So you coming on the show, I'll say before November.
Okay, works for me.
That's what we're gonna do.
All right. So to wrap this up, I'm gonna give you this segment. You just answer one or the other. You don't have time to think about it. You just answer the question. The first one comes to mind. Okay. You ready?
I feel like this is a setup. Like
it is not a setup.
I ask God to pray for discernment. Something about this I'm telling you, you about to let the people know that I don't know how to play spades, and I went to a black college.
I don't know how to play spades. I went to the same school you went to. I don't know how to play spades. So
you don't know how to play spades?
Absolutely do not. I am not a card player.
We gotta be the only two people in the universe.
That's why we got the same vibe. I don't know how to play spades. It's not my thing. All right, you ready?
I'm ready, man.
All right. Fish or chicken?
I ain't no time. You asking me to choose between fish and chicken?
Yes, come on. You pick one or the other.
Man,
you gotta pick one or the other. This ain't no setup. One or the other.
It's chicken, even though salmon got the black community in the chokehold right now. It's chicken.
Coke or Pepsi?
Coca-Cola.
Yes, Coke.
I feel like you're trying to set me up. If I say, I would say Coca-Cola. I'm not gonna say Coke on here because that's how the people start recruiting against you. Coca-Cola.
Coca-Cola or Pepsi? All right.
Coca-Cola. Hot or cold? Like to sleep?
No, hot or cold. The weather.
Oh, the weather?
Hot. Yes.
Hot.
Spring or fall?
Fall. Football.
Football or basketball?
To play or to watch?
To watch.
Basketball. I don't watch football the same no more.
Mild or spicy?
Spicy.
You answered that really quick. And after you just stumbled over everything else.
I didn't stumble. I was just very measured.
This is fun. Let me see where you're gonna go here. City or country? Living.
Country.
Don't you live in a city?
But I live in the country part of the city. I can still go to Walmart. Like, think about it. I don't live downtown Dallas. I live where I can go to Walmart. They got a Target. It ain't in the middle of the city. It still feels country-esque. So, not the city. No.
Thank you. Company or alone? Do you like to have company or do you like to be by yourself?
I'm a hybrid. I'm not alone. Alone.
Do you
Keisha, don't say nothing crazy on there, Keisha.
I'm not.
You ask me something crazy, I'm gonna act like it went dead.
Do you prefer to drive or fly?
Fly now. Fly.
Why fly now? Is it because of your age? Is it something? Or you going longer?
Don't make me be old just because you getting older. I
am old. I'm not. I'm on own mind. I'm older than you. I know. I'm on own mind.
I would say just like efficiency. You know, like sometimes like with the driving, it's cool. You know, if there's new music out, sometimes I'm able to call people and talk to people. You know, while I'm on the road. But
right,
as far as the efficiency, you know, you can't beat flying.
What's the furthest trip you took?
Like to football. I mean, I go on.
No, just furthest like traveling. Period. Like driving, flying. The furthest place you've been.
I don't know what's the furthest. I'm guessing Amsterdam.
Okay.
Don't judge me. I was just, you know,
this is just. You see how I'm just asking. I'm just asking questions.
No, I don't know, Keith. I don't know. Keisha, let me ask you a question real quick. LeBron or Jordan?
LeBron. That's my cousin. I always say it's my cousin.
This is my next one. Jeffrey Simmons or Aaron Donald?
Jeffrey Simmons.
I bet. All right. Thank you. I appreciate that.
First, cool. I'm not gonna be a fool to say Aaron Donald after we didn't have this whole Jeffrey Simmons conversation on this call.
I'm trying to tell you, man. I'm trying to tell you, bro is you still here?
Yes.
You was cutting out. I'm telling you right now. bandwagon out full for bro. He balling. Tyree about to have his opportunity out there in New York. Giants 3-1. It's a great time, man. And I just want to. I know shout out to you mentioned HBCU. I'd be remiss if I didn't give a shout out to my guy Jason Hatcher, who went to Grambling. Jason Hatcher is Jeffrey Simmons' uncle. So he built this company, Walking Business Sports Group, brick by brick by himself. So I'm not in this opportunity without another HBCU guy. I'm not gonna say I didn't earn the opportunity because like I did, but he could have easily had that line of thinking like, oh, I'm going super agent, I'm going this, that. And he gave me this opportunity. Well, I mean, I earned the opportunity that he thought he saw fit for me to have. So shout out to Hatch, man. That's another element of the company at the HBCU. Kenny Petway, who's around too, who went to Grambling. So I couldn't get out that. That's like Drake doing an interview and don't shout out Wayne.
Right. And then my final question: go ahead and represent your school, your fraternity, and anything else you want to represent on this call.
That's that's a great. I appreciate. I thought you never asked. And make sure you let people know we didn't have no prep. This is just
no prep whatsoever. Zero prep.
We just out here. The first thing, man, I just I guess I have to rep my city. Like Eunice, Louisiana, man, 13,000 people. So I was raised. There ain't been an interview I've ever done that I ain't represent my city. Those people have supported me and loved me and believed in me when nobody else did. You knew you could always go home and somebody will give you a word of encouragement or some food or sometimes both, a word of encouragement and a plate. So I have so much love for that place, and I just want to thank everybody who supported me and who's loved me, irrespective of if I was up or down. That's my city. My mom, my dad, my family, my sister, my daughter. Like, that's your family. My family is my family, and I love them unconditionally. I don't want to just start naming people because I'm gonna leave somebody out, but they know what's up. My family, my church. All right, I joined my home church, New Zion Baptist Church, Reverend Ben. Great church, but I've joined the church here in Dallas recently. You follow me on the gram. I sit row 6 every Sunday, First Baptist Hamilton Park. Those people really took me in. Next thing you know, I'm fixing plates. It was my rookie year is over now, but they worked me. Go get the ice. Go do this. Go do that. And I was obedient, and I've grown a lot in going to that church. So I have to rep my church family all day. I have to rep my group, Walking Business Sports Group, all day. Y'all know what it is. It should, my photographer, Snapper Media. Y'all done seen my pictures lately. Bro is really like that, and I'm his agent. He's the first photographer with an agent. So I want to, that's one thing. And then obviously you said my school, Southern Eunice High School, first and foremost. Actually, Highland Elementary, if we're going all the way back. Highland Elementary, Central Middle School, Eunice Junior High, Eunice High School, Southern Law School. You know what I mean? And fraternity-wise, while all the organizations are great, let me say that first of all. The Divine Nine, everybody's great. Everybody, whether you Greek or not, you great. And the Divine Nine is great. But there's levels to this. I don't want to alienate anybody. It's love. I represent 2 Omegas. I mean, but it's going to be Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated, specifically the Bloody Beta Sigma chapter, the 5-time national chapter of the year, the illustrious, we just, since 1936, the Beta Sig chapter, y'all, shout out to them boys, man. Y'all know what's up. It's a lot of love there.
This is why I love Paul, because he literally breaks it down. He broke it down for us to specifically understand the 5 times. You had to throw that in there 5 times, right? Hey, it is what it is.
I mean, the boys probably about to get another one. We about to get off suspension real soon. Free the Sig, man. Free Beta Sig, man. Like, come on.
I love it. I love it.
We're a non-hazing entity, man. All them allegations, I don't know what they talking about.
It didn't happen, huh?
No, Keisha.
I just said, hey. Well, Paul, Agent Paul, I want to thank you again, first and foremost, for sitting down with me and having this conversation and talking to us about your time from Southern University, what it's like to be the attorney, what it's like to be Agent Paul, what it's like to represent all of these athletes, what it's like to be in this space, to use your platform, what it's like to actually be in front of, because we see this all the time. People probably think this is this, they hear NFL agent, but they don't understand how much work goes into being the agent. I'm sure they don't understand how much work goes into being the agent. Yeah, before we get out of here, please tell us how much work goes into that, because I think I've kind of barreled past that. And I know a lot of times people are like, "Oh, Keisha, I see you. You're on the sidelines. You do." Y'all don't have no clue how much work goes into Black college experience behind the scenes. So I know if I'm doing all this work behind the scenes, I know Paul doing 10 times work as the agent.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of levels that you don't see, and just for me, I want to be a very hands-on agent. I can't speak to what other agents are doing or how they're working, so I can't say whether I'm working harder or not harder. I feel like, uh, I believe before you can know the player, you got to know the person. And I get it that sometimes those waters get, muddy, murky, between friend and player. But once you establish those boundaries, you're inevitably going to foster some level of friendship. So I think you want to be very intentional on building relationships, and people don't care what you know till they know that you care. So I'm very intentional. Like, I know Tyree's birthday is January 29th. I know Jeff just had a birthday on the 27th, right? You want to be very 28th, sorry. But what I'm saying is, like, you want to be very intentional on that side of it, right? There's the personal aspect. And if you're a good agent or a great agent, you're gonna wear many hats. Some days you're just gonna be a friend, or they just telling you about practice and they just want to FaceTime and vent. Like, bro, they had me lined up at the 2 hour. I should have been at the 3. And sometimes I don't know what they be talking about, because I know football, but like the linemen start talking, I'll be like, yeah, the stunt. I know. I just be acting like I know. Then I call hats and he tells me. But you're gonna be a friend in some situation. You're gonna be a big brother. You're going to, advise them about life choices just based on the mistakes you make. Sometimes you're going to pray together, right? So there's it's bigger than just what you see on Jerry Maguire if you really want to do this right. I feel like any player I represent, I hope to be in their wedding one day. I hope to be a Godfather candidate. That's the way I think. If you've done it that way, you've done it right. I saw when Dion got enshrined into the Hall of Fame, Eugene Parker, his agent, was the person that presented him. You want those type of relationships, and there's the personal aspect, there's the business side of it too. Where like we're in contract year right now, so there's that side of it. You're gonna have to be prepared, because if you're not prepared, you're gonna get your lunch handed to you, right? Now that's Tyree got released by the Ravens. We had to figure out how to get him to the Giants. How does the waiver wire work? So there's so much that goes into it, man. And I say that if you're really trying to get into this, you gotta have a heart for it. If you're only trying to do this because you think it's like, oh, I want to be in the green room, I want to put a suit on, I want to tell people I'm an agent, like, bro, don't do it. And maybe that's why, Southern Man invited me back to speak to not even been on no symposium, no nothing, and I'm not salty about it, but I think maybe I'm gonna just keep it a band. Like, some of y'all ain't gonna do it, bro. Like, just because you know somebody that you've been knowing them since middle school, they probably not gonna sign with you, dog. Like, they gonna sign with you till CAA pull up with $300,000 marketing advance. They fool with you like that. So right. I'm able to talk to every side of the business, Keisha. I know what it's like to represent a Pro Bowl. I know what it's like to be at a pro day with nobody there. So I feel like I wouldn't take the journey back for nothing. It's hard, but it's fair. And when you're living in your purpose and you love something, bro, like I could talk to you about this all day. Like, I was and I know we gotta go, but I was in Nashville for the first game, and with Jeff's first game, and first thing I did, I found the church. Bishop Walker, he went to Southern. Like,
correct. That's the, see, my nephew go to that church. So here we are once again. Nephew's at the church.
So I went to the one in the trenches, like the normal location, like, so and the game was at 3, church was at 8 or like 8:30, and I'm just on my way to church, and I just start crying, bro. Like, I almost had to pull over. Like, it just, like, I really started crying, because, like, when you love something and you had the opportunity, and it's like, yeah, I know people saw, like, I was on the sideline, right? Shout out to my dog Vin Marino, got me on the sideline, and like, yeah, that's cool. You know, you got to take them pictures. You got to show that, right? You know, on your page, you got to post that to show access and all this. But like, my proudest moment was like driving to church and like having them tears and just being thankful to God for, you know, like I know what it feels like to wonder if you ever gonna have this opportunity, like, and you don't take it for granted. You know, this might be the last time I get to do this. You know, you never know. You can't take it for granted, and you got to be present and live in the moment. So, them tears and you know that natural joy you see of me doing this. Like some days I curse it, like, I hate it. I'm like, man, I don't want to do this. But when you live in your purpose, it's gonna be ups and downs, but it's gonna always DM you. It's gonna always send you that DM like, "What's up? What you doing? You up?" And you know, I'm thankful. I'm beyond thankful, and I feel like I haven't even reached the ceiling as to where I think I can go in this business. You know, it's a very quiet confidence, Keisha. I feel like I'm getting better every day, and you know, I don't feel like nobody's better than me in this business. I don't.
So yeah, before we go, I just want to let y'all know that Paul is my agent. He don't know it yet, but he's my agent. He's representing Black College Experience these days. He doesn't know yet, but I'm telling him now. But anyhow, seriously, thank you so much, Paul, for sitting down, joining. I cannot tell you how great this conversation has been, how much you have enlightened me, how much you have shared with me that I didn't know. I truly, 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 I don't know how many times you said Eunice, so I don't know how many shots those people got to take, but four. Y'all got 4 shots. Make sure y'all do it after work or whatever, because you don't want to do it tonight if you got to work tomorrow. But that's 4 shots.
Thursday night football. Keisha, Thursday night football. Them people watching. Them people.
All right, y'all. It's Thursday night football. It's Thursday night football, so y'all got 4 shots. So again, thank you, Agent Paul D, for joining Black College Experience. Please do not be a stranger. I'm going to be looking out for your show. Tell your baby goodbye and tell her good night so she can hear you on the line.
Well, first of all, my daughter, man, you know, she shared some news with me yesterday. I ain't gonna tell her business, you know, but I ain't gonna tell her
Don't
business.
You tell her business on here.
I never, but she called me blushing and happy. So, you know, as a dad, I just had to.
How old is she?
You know, she's 11.
It's a boy.
So, yeah, so she called me and she told me, and I was like, give me the tea, sis. Tell me all about it. You know, how do you ask you? So, it was, she supported me, like in my decisions. So I gotta show her love too. So I was, anyhow, she watching a lot of, man, this is your dad. Everybody says they have a why. You definitely mine. You're the reason that I probably would have quit a long time ago, if it wasn't for you. So I want to thank you for existing. I told you last night, I texted to you. It was from The Alchemist. I said, I love you because the entire universe conspired to help me find you. And then she was like, what does that mean? Then I kind of had to explain it to her, but at the same time, I love my daughter and that's my baby. You ain't about to make me cry on here though. I'm gonna tell you that right now.
I'm not gonna do it.
No.
Well, thank you once again. You be safe, and whatever you're doing this weekend, please be safe. Have a great weekend. Enjoy, and y'all make sure y'all get those 4 shots in because he said however many times he represented. So y'all got 4 shots. He got a whole cup. So y'all got 4 shots.
Water.
Y'all got to catch up. He drinking water, but y'all got to drink those shots. He got y'all on shots while he over there drinking water. What kind of person is he? Good night, Paul. Thank you so much. You be safe in Texas, man.
All right, my girl. Take it easy.
Right,
Keep going. Keep going.
You too.
Keep going.
Thank you. Thank you.
Right.